job because most of what I wrote probably would have been spoken by most of them, so I'll go through some of these charts to talk about. And I'll be very honest in my presentation. Year 1998, so what Suresh just said, mediocre stay in the same company. It really hit me hard. I've never changed my job, 16 years I'm in the same company as that. Sorry? So therefore, I don't know if I'm mediocre or whichever way. Well, in year 2000, my HR had called me, and let me be honest saying that I've been the biggest critic of HR all through while I was managing business. Probably that's the reason why I was told that, okay, dard aapne diya, dawa de dijiye, and therefore I'm into HR for the last 1 year to say so. So in year 2000, the HR head told me, you are a hypo, and this is what he told. And in B school, the only subject which I almost left in the class and for attendance sake I used to attend was organization behavior 1, 2, 3 and HRM. So therefore I didn't know what hypo is. My first reaction was, is he saying I'm anemic? So I told him immediately, no sir, I'm very ill. He again said, Srini, you are a hypo. So I thought hypo means I tend to get hyper at times, so maybe he's referring to that. So I told him, no sir, I'm a cool man. So he said, no, I mean you have high potential. That's how I started Googling to find what it is all about. I'm not going to take you through definitions and a framework which my colleagues have taken, and I also respect the fact that all of you would know much more than me about HR tools and techniques, etc. It's like saying, I can't teach my grandmother which side of the egg she needs to bake. She taught me, so therefore I would have been right on that. But having said that, for sake of presentation, there are certain slides which do define, but I'll just flip through that across. I will also share that what is that at Piramal's 10,000 people strong with 4,000 people placed internationally from 35 different nationalities. What is that we are doing slightly differently to share our experiences of sharing. So one question always comes in, what is this big deal about hypo? And the first thing strike me was, had somebody not identified the potential of Shah Rukh Khan in a serial called Circus and Vidya Balan in a serial called Hum Panch, probably they would not have been the stars that they are in. So the need of hypo is important because this is the journey of Shah Rukh Khan from Circus to Chennai Express and Hum Panch to Kahani. If Hindustan Levers did not have this scheme, a management trainee, Google did not give me younger photos, so I managed a black and white photo. So a management trainee to a CTO journey. So the whole idea is that science of hypo is there. You have a potential to create a positive impact on the business. So identifying, nurturing, mentoring hypos yields dramatic results across the organization. Hindustan Levers in its annual report proudly says, 1,000 alumni of Hindustan Unilever, which is Indian company, are on boards of various companies which are in India, which are listed companies in India. So you are saying that your hypos are actually corporate INC's hypos, whom you are, most of them are staying with you, but some of them have left. So we are talking about power of hypo creating an impact on the mission as such. I believe there is no universal formula and template to say that how to identify hypo and what works best for your organization need not work for others. So a bit of background to say that for Piramal's, why is it important to have this set of people called hypos? We were predominantly a textile company till 1988 with 97% revenue coming from textiles. 90% coming from textiles and was loss making. 2004, less than 5% of our revenue was coming from textile. So you're talking about traditional manufacturing moving into branding, generics and a completely marketing driven organization. Today as we speak, not even 30% of our revenue comes from pharmaceutical. 75% of our revenue is international revenue. 31% of our employees are global citizens from 35 different nationalities. Point I'm saying is in a matter of 2 decades span, the whole business has moved from completely manufacturing-centric business to a branded generic business to an international business which is into information management and other financial services. So the whole point is, if we have set of managers or people or a mechanism or a template to create managers who are responsive enough to the change, they need not be just functional specialists, but beyond that, then the magic that we created in each of these industries is replicable. So our belief is, hypo is a method where as we change our business model, we have set of warrior, black commandos who help us in creating the same magic in other business. Who is high potential has been covered, so I'll just take that out. In terms of identifying high potential, no difference. 3x3 matrix, it's just that the terms has been changed in the organization. Definitions have been slightly changed, so I won't go into the detail of it. But I think what is unique at Piramal, which we are very proud of, and for the last 10 years that we use a process called topics. Topics is a process where the 3x3 matrix is defined by the manager, but discussed at 4 different levels. So if you are in a particular band, let's say manager band, all your hypos get discussed at a senior manager level, where you go in defense saying that this is the reason why I have rated what it is. Again, it goes to one level up, one level up. For all the vice presidents and above in the organization, which is 120 people, the promoter of the company and board members sit through that discussion. So there is some amount of neutralization, and as Suresh has rightly mentioned, that the personal bias goes out of that. But this method also gives a larger visibility, which is very important for hypos. So we find that a lot of the managers move across our businesses, left, right, center, if a particular skill of a manager exists. The reason is because they get discussed at a forum where they get that visibility. Otherwise, in 10,000 people organization, it's impossible that somebody who's good at something sitting in one corner of the organization gets visibility. So I think one, topics process helps us in collective responsibility, because the manager or anybody can't say that there is a bias in this organization. Second, it also gives a visibility pan-world that presence we have, and you get an opportunity to share your contributions across. Developing our hypo employees through L&D strategies. So we firmly believe that any L&D strategy which is not linked to organization strategy is not worth it, and more fun in pursuing that. So given the way our organization is moving from a textile company to a marketing company to a financial services company, we feel that a few things is what our hypos should be having. General management skill is a must, and also a deeper understanding of the business is what is most important. So the DNA doesn't change, only the businesses change. Can we replicate the DNA is the business problem that we have. We have a few programs, and I'll share some of these programs that we have. Mentoring program, the process is pretty structured. The mentors go through train the trainers program on how to do the mentoring. We have internal as well as external mentors depending on the competencies that we talk about. I think slightly unique the mentorship program that we have is, it's a 2.5 years mentorship program which a mentee has to do, and 110 assignments are predefined in the area where the mentee is responsible for mentor to get those 110 assignments being done over 2.5 years time. So there's a structure, there is a measure, there is an organization impact, and there's a training given to the mentee to say how mentoring happens over there. These are some of the names to just emphasize that mentor may not be from your functional area. Vivek is finance controller of pharmaceutical business. He's mentoring a marketing person from the packaging business. Samit is a supply chain, global supply chain head. He's mentoring somebody in the IT department. So therefore, we believe that the managerial skills is not function specific, but the managerial skill in the mentoring of leadership is more to do with your attitude and aptitude to talk about. We do use external mentors, some of the names are to all of us, but we do mentoring at a CXO level, where 360-degree feedback is done and a time-bound action plan is worked out what is top of the as executive coaching. We have mentoring, structured mentoring. This is Professor Shikhar Ghosh from Harvard Business School, who mentors some of our senior management team, and this is close to about 16 interventions a year that he does, and capability of leadership development is what he does. For middle-level managers, we are conscious of the fact that we are in a reverse pyramid. 57% of our employees are an assistant manager and band 1, what we call us. We have got 30% of our managers in band 5 and 6, which are senior level batches. We hardly have 4-5% of the employees being there. So this hypo program we try to run at all the levels. It's nothing to do with hierarchy. So we run an in-house MVP program, which is a 7-day program called PACE, Piramal Achieving Competitive Edge. The beauty of this program is 100% of the faculty are in-house faculty, and there is a structure to the program, and we are very proud to say that we can give tough time to the school to compare us with the program that we run. It's a very structured program of 7 days where the general management skills are imparted to the people. As an organization, we believe that total value added or economic value added is the parameter that we need to chase, a financial parameter that we need to chase to enhance shareholder value. And that's almost like a Bhagavad Gita for us, and it's almost like a Quran for us. Like school prayers, all our meeting starts with saying, what is the decision that we make to, what happens to EBA, what happens to EBA. These are two financial terms that we talk about. So all the hypos undergo in-depth technique training, and what is in-depth in a couple of slides I cover. All the hypos go through a competency-based training. Somehow we managed a good set of in-house faculty. We are not into the training business, but we feel that it also gives an opportunity for hypos to train upcoming hypos. We have an in-house portal for EBA where anything possible that you want to do with EBA, right from cost to balance sheet, can be online. This is the in-house simulator that we have generated, and all the hypos go through the simulation, and it's a 5-day activity of running a company which is loss-making into profit. And yet the simulation is a game which is played for 5 days periodically. Point I was trying to say is that you have a framework, you need to have a rigor for doing what you do. We firmly believe that hypo is not just about business performance. Hypo's culture is not just about delivering numbers, but hypo is true evangelists of the organization who live the values of the organization and are engaged with us to talk about. As an organization, we have values, and all the hypos are value champions where a specific responsibility of cascading values is given to them, a specific responsibility of making values into real time is given to them, their assignments pertaining to values is given. 120 of these hypos are value champions or evangelists across the organization. In terms of employee engagement, like all of us use, we will be using our Watson or Gallup, etc. that we do. All the hypos are online champions or employee engagement champion, which means their responsibility is to adopt 10 teams, tell them how to improve the engagement of those teams, help them create action items against the scores that they have received. And one more unique customization which we ask, and for some reason Gallup and our Watson tells us that not many companies ask for it. We ask analysis potential wise, which means of the scorecards which comes manager wise, etc. One of the scorecards we ask is for hypo scorecards. The reason is we need to know whether that engagement element is missing or what is missing in that. Otherwise, it becomes theoretical to define it. This is the level of involvement in terms of defining values of the organization, etc. that hypos are involved. At the lower level, we do have graduates and engineering graduates and pharmacy graduates who show that potential, but they do not have what is an MBA degree, which many other people in leadership are. So we have an in-house B school, which is called B school, where it has tied up with reputed institutes like SPJ, where MBA is offered to 60-65 people every year at our location. It's a customized MBA program for us over 3 years, 54 contact classes, and followed by certain CDs and books, etc. Completely customized for Piramals, the case studies, etc. customized for Piramals. So we have around 300 MBA graduates from either SPJ or VIT, VIN down south who offer these kind of programs. People don't have to move out, that completely paid by the company. The projects assignments are very Piramal centric. We have 300 alumni strong from this MBA college, which helps us retention of the people that we talk about. All the hypos band 5 and band 6, which is VP said about, go through one case study every month, and Dean Nitin Noya of Harvard Business School facilitates that. We have, like I would have gone through 36 case studies in the last 3 years' time. This case study is on leadership, starts with individual leadership, goes up to organization leadership. So we start with top person kind of a case, go up to one-man kind of a case. Case ends up with saying, what is that we can implement in Piramal? And this happens on a prefix day that calendars are blocked for all the hypos in the vice president level category. Couple of examples to talk about. So we have a gentleman who started his career in operational excellence, was into the plant working on shop floor transformation. We realized his knack for business, he was trained, he moved on to strategy. As I talk to you, he is managing a P&L account of about 250 crores of a business called Lab Diagnostic Point of Care. Again, a structured movement over a period of time. Sanjay Tiwari was a finance controller 12 years back, he has joined us, was controlling a small division of about 300 crores. Today, as I speak to you, he is the CEO of a business, and almost about 850-900 crores is what he manages. But a structured movement from a finance controller to a production head to an SBU head to a CEO, which was done. Through this, is it done in 100% of the case? Answer is no. I don't think we are master of the institutionalizing of it. But somewhere, wherever visibility is high, we found dozens of cases where we have the structure of it. What it helps us is giving a ray of hope to people, saying that this is what you get when you get. So experiment here, don't move out of the organization, and therefore helps us binding. The people in question I'm talking about are high-profile chartered accountants, etc., with us for a longish period of time. So in a nutshell, I think HIPO has a scale issue, which means I'm not aware of many organizations where one can proudly say that HIPO is implemented from bank 1 to bank 6 and it works very well. I think there is a scale issue because very close monitoring is required. Is the program very effective? In such forums are really good examples. I'm sure there must be equally bad examples. I think there are gray areas. How to measure the impact of HIPOs, and are we able to retain all the HIPOs? Are our identification processes right? I'm not sure. I think there are gray areas, and the science of HR over a period of time will solve them. I think there needs a structured program for a HIPO where the mathematics is known that this needs to be done, this needs to be done, and this needs to be done, which has been covered by others. Another important point is, a lot of people, business people come and tell me that, you know what, we should do assessment center for our fields now. My question to them, what next? You have identified people, what next? No, they feel nice about it. What next? You don't have an answer. So I guess unless the full value chain is closed, the risk is by doing an assessment center, you are raising a hope in the mind of the people. When you raise a hope and nothing happens, there is no action on the ground, it actually firebacks. So my urge is that unless the value chain is in place and you have the jigsaw puzzles put together, it's not worth it. My belief is organizations like ours where we are dynamic and moving from business to business, any one group that we talk about sitting here, all the groups have changed the business models in the last 20 years. Core management has not changed. Identify the DNA of the organization and HIPOs should have and leave those DNA to talk about. Skills should be replicable across the business. Most important, strong involvement of the top management. So it's very important that we have a buy-in from the top management on this, otherwise it becomes a good PowerPoint presentation with least impact that we talk about. I end up by sharing what I saw in a menu card of a funky hotel in Chennai the other day when I was there for some session. It says, somebody prays and God appears. By the way, being a traditional South Indian, I'm a firm believer in God. And God says, what do you want? The bug says, I want a job that keeps me busy. I want bag full of money. I want vehicle full of women. This is what the bug has asked. God said, task two. And the person becomes lady special driver of years. So I guess what is important is we need to be very specific in any strategy that we talk about. How much ever something works in Piramal may not work in Eureka Foods, may not work in Pfizer, may not work in the Lanspa. But idea is one or two best practices, because the moment anything in HR we speak about and anything in strategy we speak about, we Google it, we find GE practices as best practice. That works for GE, that may not work for us. So what I shared on the bus driver was more to do with the fact that we need to have a very specific customized strategy. Thank you so much.